Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. And today, my lovelies, it is spooky month. It is the second day of spooky month, and I am going to be reading incidents from Disneyland's death. It's not literally the death of Disneyland, it's more of deaths that have happened at Disneyland. It's from the official website. It's bright screen. Should have saw that one coming. Let's hope it looks. Yep, there we go. It's from whatever that is. Let me try. Wander's Wisdom. Wanderswisdom.com is where it's from. Okay, so, basically, I will be reading a few of these. Let's get into it. The first one I will be reading is called The People Killer. Throughout the People Mover no longer exist, though the People Mover no longer exists at Disneyland, it claimed several victims. The first was a 17-year-old boy whose left his leg just as it was passing through. Left his car just as it was passing through a tunnel in 1967, and the young man fell and was crushed beneath some oncoming cars. In 1980, the People Mover killed again, causing another young park visitor in the super speed tunnel as the recent high school grad attempted to move from one car to another. His body was dragged for more than 100 feet before the operator stopped the ride. Beware the monorail is this next part of the article. In June of 1966, a 19-year-old attempted to sneak into Disneyland by scaling the monorail track. Though a guard attempted to warn him of an oncoming train, the young man was not able to get out of the way fast enough and was hit by a train and dragged about 30 feet along the track. He died on sight. Disneyland drownings. In summer of 1973, an 18-year-old park visitor and his 10-year-old brother managed to achieve a common dream of hiding out in the park past closing time by stowing away on Tom Storyland? Not sure about how to pronounce that one. Instead of asking cast members for help off the island, several hours later they decided to swim off the island across the rivers of America to avoid detection. Being an accommodating older brother, the soon-to-be drowning victim pulled his younger brother along on his back through the river, but grew exhausted and drowned. His brother managed to stay afloat by dog paddling and was eventually rescued by a cast member. By then, his older brother was nowhere to be seen and was found dead the next morning. In 1984, another drowning took place in the rivers of America when an 18-year-old park goer and a friend, both somewhat drunk, stole a maintenance motorboat for a nighttime joyride. After hitting a rock, the young man was tossed overboard and drowned before his friend was able to get help. Shipwreck. Well, most Disneyland deaths are a result from recklessness on behalf of the park attendees. One tragic One tragic 1998 event was caused by negligence on behalf of the park. On Christmas Eve of that year, 3 people, 2 guests and 1 cast member, were killed after being struck by a cleat on the sailing ship Columbi, which can be found on the rivers of America. That was set loose after the rope to which it was attached tore loose. This event caused Disneyland to rethink its operations and safety procedures, which are now more rigorous than ever. Matterhorn incidents. In May of 1964, a 15-year-old boy died 3 days after sustaining injuries to his head and torso on the Matterhorn bobsleds. After being thrown from his car onto the track below, either this teen or his friend unbuckled his seatbelt and he attempted to stand near the park mountain. 20 years later, the first female Disneyland death took place in a very similar fashion, as a 48-year-old park visitor was thrown from her seat as the car went full throttle down the mountain and she was ran over by an oncoming bobsled. The woman's seatbelt was never fastened because she was alone in her car. Nobody knew she had deliberately freed herself. She did that on purpose. A violent future. Some Disneyland deaths are more substantial than ride or future related. In 1981, a park guest who was only 18 died from injuries sustained to a knife fight that took out in Tomorrowland. The Wall of Death. In 1974, a hostess responsible for greeting audience at America Sings, a refurbished version of the Carousel of Progress, was crushed between the rotating theater wall and stationary stage. The wall has been changed to prevent an accident like that from ever taking place again. The ominous thunder. The most Disney deaths are consequently in a park attendee's failure to follow park rules and guidelines. The most recent Disneyland death and several injuries were not a result of a visitor's recklessness. One 22-year-old visitor bled to death from blunt force trauma to the chest after the cars separated from the locomotive in one of the Big Thunder Mountain tunnels and crashed into the locomotive's underside. It was found that the incident was a result of improper maintenance. I feel like that would be all, and please be careful when you're going on rides and listen to anything with rules. Please be safe out there, my lovelies, and have a happy spooky month. Mwah!